I just, anytime you play the first game of a regional, there's obviously a few nerves and jitters. I thought our guys handled it really well. After the first inning, Artie Lewicki really settled down and I think pitched a tremendous ball game for us. That's what we needed in game one. We needed our starter to go out there and pitch deep into the game, which he certainly did. You all were probably wondering after the first 4 or 5 innings or so if we were trying to set a record for sacrifice bunts in an NCAA game. I'm not quite sure what the record is, but we were going for it. And, we just had a lot of innings where we had the leadoff runner on. We were trying to move a guy over and knock him in, and it worked the first 3 innings where, we were able to get single runs and couldn't come up with that extra hit with 2 outs to put up a multiple run inning. But, I was really proud of our guys in the 6th inning. We were very opportunistic and opened it up, and thought we played a really good baseball game in game 1, and we're looking forward to the rest of the tournament.
Questions for student athletes?
Artie, what did Coach say to you when he went to the mound? You had the 2 walks, seemed like you were struggling, and then after that you looked pretty on.
Well, he just told me to settle down out on the mound, and in between the first and second inning, he pulled me underneath and he said that he was going to take me off his Christmas card list if I didn't go out and start competing and going after the hitters. So I think afterwards I just started to let it rip and challenge batters, and it worked out for me.
So you're going to get a Christmas card now?
I hope so. We'll see.
You're on it,
Yeah, he was on it.
Hey, Artie, you said the other day that you were going to approach this just like another game. Obviously, it's an NCAA game. Were there any nerves that first inning for you, or were you dealing with anything different?
There weren't any nerves. I think I was just trying to nibble a little too much. I felt okay. I treated it, like you said, I treated it like it was every other game. I just wanted to go out and give my team the best opportunity to win. And I think after the first inning, I was able to do that.
Nate, Paul Woody from the Richmond Times-Dispatch. I think you were asked to sacrifice bunt 3 times. Have you ever done that? Been asked to do that before, that many times? And what do you feel like you get accomplished when you get those bunts down?
I think so. I don't remember the exact routine or date or whatnot, but I mean, it's something that we do in practice every week. It's part of who we are as a team offensively. It's part of what we do, and we take a lot of pride in it. And every guy in that locker room takes a lot of pride in, getting a bunt down and moving a teammate over, or putting a hit and run in play, or scoring back from third. It's all part of who we are as a team. It's all part of our identity. So it's something that we work on. It's something that we pride ourselves in. I was just happen to be in that spot a couple times.
Nate, I don't know if you and Artie are kind of would have been joint members on Coach K's Christmas list, but I'm sure he would have been happy with you if that things didn't change after that first inning with Artie. What did you see in him that changed after those first struggles?
I mean, when Artie pitches aggressively, there's a demeanor to him that you can't really stop him, and he's just going to go straight through you. He's going to go straight through the other team, and just like he said, I think he was just trying to nibble a little bit too much, just trying to be a little bit too careful. And in this, in a game like this, especially in an NCAA tournament game with a really good team on the other side, all you can do is be aggressive, and all you can do is put yourself out there and put your best stuff out there, and the results will take care of themselves.
Mike, with the Wake series and then the ACC tournament, there's some question about the way you guys came into this tournament. How good does it feel to not just win game 1, but to win it so decisively? Do you feel like you're back on track?
Right, our offense had a great game today, and the past 3 practices this week, our offense was hitting extremely well, and we were looking forward to coming into a game from the ACC series and being able to show what our offense can really do.
They keep that play in the 6th inning, that bunt that kind of threw away in the left field. Did you feel like that kind of broke things open, and just kind of take us through that one? I know you kind of laid it down, and then all kind of chaos happened.
I mean, I know John was out at second base, and he's got some pretty good wheels. So I knew if I can kind of lay it down enough so where the pitcher had to get to it a little bit closer towards home, he might have a shot at getting to third base, because I knew they were going to run the wheel play and try to get that out. So I just put it down. Hopefully got it close enough so where John could get to third base safely, and they just happened to rush the throw and put it away.
Hey Nate, you mentioned your identity as a team. I was wondering if you could maybe go into that a little bit more for those of us who haven't seen the team all year. what does this team really hang its hat on, and what does it need to do well in order to get out of this regional and move on?
We're going to be tough, hard-nosed, aggressive. We're going to take it to the other team no matter what, no matter who's on the other side. We're going to play the game the way we have been taught to play, no matter what. That's been consistent for us in the clubhouse. No matter what's happened this year, we're going to still go out and play the game the same way every single day, and the results will take care of themselves. And moving forward, that's all we can ask for out of our guys. Whether on the mound, defensively or offensively, all we can do is, do what we've practiced and play to what we do, and the results will take care of themselves.
Mike, you guys put the lead runner on, I think, the first 5 or 6 innings or so. How much pressure does that put on a defense when you're constantly doing that? And do you think that eventually just kind of break through with that big lot of runs like you did the 6th?
More so, I think it puts a lot of pressure on the pitcher, which we did a great job today. And when we get our leadoff guy and we're able, like Nate said, to sacrifice him over, and we have all the guys in the lineup can do that for us, and everyone behind the guy you can sack can knock him in with an RBI. So we're pretty confident with getting guys on and putting them over and putting a lot of pressure on the pitcher and the defense.
Take 2 more questions for student athletes.
Mike, you're normally very patient at plate, see a lot of pitches. You were very aggressive early in counts, got a couple of first pitch base hits, I think, tonight. Is that a different strategy? Was it just situational?
Probably more situational. I know in practice this week we were, like Nate said, part of what we pride ourselves on is being more aggressive and putting a lot of pressure on other teams. So I think if we were going to be a great team, then everyone needs to buy into being more aggressive and swinging at pitches that are maybe borderline and usable instead of taking and being more selective.
More question? Okay. Fellas, thanks very much. You can go. I think you got some additional questions for Coach O'Connor.
Hey, Brian, are you even more inclined to have your guys bunt when the opponent is struggling in the field the way Bucknell was, and you kind of keep the pressure up on them that way?
That was not our plan going into the game. I'll tell you that we didn't have any information that they didn't handle the bunt game well. It was purely situational, inning by inning. It's not. We did this year. We haven't gotten the leadoff runner on as frequently as we did in this ball game. We did that really well, and the game tells us what to do. We have a lot of confidence in our pitching and defense, and you look at our scores throughout this year. It doesn't take a whole lot of runs for us to win a game, and we just, as the home team, needed to make sure we capitalized on every opportunity we had. Then certainly, they mishandled some balls, and that lends itself to maybe this is something that we continue to do. And I'll tell you, I was really impressed with our lineup today. Their starters, the guy's won 8 games. He's difficult to hit from his arm angle and the sliders he throws and things like that. But if you look at our lineup 1 through 9, even if they didn't have a hit, everybody in our lineup did something to help our team win offensively today. Danny Pinero might not have had a hit, but he moved some runners over and put them in scoring position to give other guys an opportunity to drive them in.
Brian, Artie didn't walk a lot of people during the season. How concerned were you in that first inning? Were you thinking, oh man, he doesn't have it today?
Well, I'd be misleading you if I didn't tell you I was a little concerned during that first inning. But I know what Artie's made of, and I knew that he'd come back. And I just went down and told him after the first inning, hey, no matter what happens, just let it rip. His velocity even in the first inning wasn't what it was in the innings 2 through 7 that he was out there. And I just said, just go out there and throw hard and let it rip and let the chips fall where they may. And he did. And, after seeing him in the second inning, I was confident that he was going to give us a good quality start.
Is that all he changed, was the velocity, or what?
I just think he was a little bit more aggressive. If you saw in the first inning, you did that, there were some marginal pitches that he was trying to pitch down to the zone and off the plate too much in certain counts rather than just trusting his stuff. And, a little bit, he can sit here and say that maybe there was a little anxiety and things like that, but that's natural, for a person to feel that. And, you get yourself through that first inning, and then, he was outstanding the rest of the time he was out there.
Brian, Greg Waters for the Sabre. Just two pitching questions. Number one, how important was it for you to let Artie come back and pitch that sixth, even though he was right at 100? And then Alec, can you just talk about, we haven't seen him in the bullpen, obviously, coming out, just I know it's just one game, it's just one inning, but just what you saw from him tonight.
Well, I thought it was important once we, broke the game open in that sixth inning was to send Artie back out there and eat up as much as the game as possible. Certainly, he wasn't going to be available again the rest of this tournament. And, if you go back and you look at our, the history in the last 11 years in our program, but specifically if you look at this year, it is very rare for one of our pitchers to throw over 100 pitches. We're known for taking guys out, maybe at a fault, sometimes too early. So these guys, because we've been conservative with them all year long, when you get to this time of the year, you can let it, ride a little bit longer. And so I thought it was important for him to go back out there in that seventh inning and shorten the game a little bit. And I was proud of Alec Bettinger. My plan was, obviously, with the score the way it was, is to get a couple of rookies out there and get them some experience in their first NCAA game. And I thought Alec Bettinger was tremendous. He was, throwing strikes and could strike out the side. I was proud of him, and he could certainly factor in at some point in this tournament.
Brian, you said earlier this week that you were confident the offense was going to come around in the postseason. Was that a feeling you had, or have you guys talked about it?
I don't know that we talked a lot about it, Jerry, but it was just a feeling I had this week in practice. I'll tell you, this week of practice, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of practice, it was the best week of practice we've had all year. It really was. The intensity was good. The competitiveness was good. With the kind of arms that we run out on the mound, and a lot of times when we scrimmage, which we did do on Tuesday and Wednesday, a lot of times our arms have a lot of success even against our own hitters, and that was not the case this week. And so, it looked like a group that was very determined and understood what it's going to take for us to be successful.
We'll take two more questions for Coach.
Right, obviously, for you guys to advance where you want to be, Derek's going to have to come up big at some point. I know the game was a little bit in hand at the time, but for still, bases loaded, 2 outs. For him to come through with that hit, how big is that, his confidence going forward?
Well, I think it's really big. I know Derek was disappointed in the first inning, the opportunity that he had in front of him, and he didn't put the ball in play. But his next at bat, he executed a hit and run. You asked him he did what you asked him to do, and that's to put the ball hard on the ground, and he did the job. And then, certainly with the bases loaded, I thought that was a big hit for him personally and for our team, because certainly, him hitting in the middle of the lineup and who he's hitting behind, he needs to be productive for us.
Brian, does it speak to a level of unselfishness among these guys that they're actually getting the bunts down? I know they're not calling them themselves, but the way you revolt if you don't want to do it is not get it down, right? And then you just swing away.
Yeah, I just think it speaks to the commitment that these players have to the team and what it takes for us to be successful. We don't always play that way. We have a fair amount of sacrifice bunts, certainly an inordinate amount today. But I think it speaks to the young men in our lineup that wear our uniform, that they put the team in front of themselves. They're human. Everybody wants to swing away, right? But they understand what we need to do to be successful. And you look at this ballpark. It's a big ballpark. Kenny Towns, when he hit that ball to left field, he got every bit of that baseball, and it didn't go out of the ballpark. So we have prided ourselves all year long, and over the past quite a few years in this program of being more of an opportunistic offensive club. I wouldn't call it a small ball club in any ways. When you look at the physical nature of the physical size of our 3, 4, and 5-hole hitters, you wouldn't say this is a small ball team. It's a team that we like to run an offense where it's more opportunistic and the situation in front of us tells us what to do.